It is a new school year and another attendance record here at Texas Tech. Coming up, we'll have details on the latest milestone and a look at some other numbers that are also on the rise across the university.
The summer season is nearing an end, and many Red Raiders are taking advantage of the warmer weather before the fall sets in. Find out how one student group invited students to get out of their dorms and discover a special way to enjoy a West Texas sunset.
And Texas Tech Athletics is staying busy with more than just football, volleyball, and soccer filling up the fall schedule. We'll have a look at the Texas Tech men's golf team and let you know how they fared in their first tournament of the new season.
This is the MCTV Weekday Update.
Welcome to the Thursday edition of the MCTV Weekday Update. I'm Aidan Norman.
And I'm Elisabeth Herring. If you felt like the Texas Tech campus is more packed this year, it's not just your imagination.
Earlier this week, Texas Tech announced a new milestone for the university, just 1 year after celebrating its 100th anniversary. On Monday, a university press release announced the 12th day enrollment for the fall 2024 semester. 41,045 students are taking classes at Texas Tech, and that represents a new overall enrollment record. It's also the first time the university has passed the 41,000 mark since classes officially started in 1925. This year's enrollment record is an important milestone for Texas Tech, as the university is growing while many other institutions are seeing declines in their population. The new enrollment mark also comes just 4 months after the university announced a new record of 9,994 degrees awarded during the 2023-2024 school year. Overall, Texas Tech has seen a 20% increase in the four-year graduation rate over the past 5 years. This week's press release also announced that the Honors College exceeded 2,000 students for the first time ever, with a 14% increase over last year's enrollment. This fall's enrollment is a return to form for the university, with Texas Tech previously announcing new enrollment records for 13 years straight, from 2009 to 2021. For historical reference, Texas Tech's very first enrollment in the fall of 1925 was made up of 910 students.
Texas Tech's record growth has also led to continued need for more academic facilities across the campus. And over the summer, the university held a special ceremony for its newest educational facility, just in time for fall classes. In early August, the new Academic Sciences building officially opened following a ceremonial ribbon cutting. Construction on the 130,000 square foot facility took just 2.5 years, creating one of the university's largest academic additions to campus in almost 2 decades. The ASB is made up of teaching and lab space for 5 departments in the College of Arts and Sciences: biological sciences, chemistry and biochemistry, geosciences, physics and astronomy, and psychological sciences. The facility also includes 4 core research labs to help support each of the departments. One other unique feature of the new Academic Science building is a special gem and mineral collection that can be viewed on the first floor. Tech alums Mike Portnoy and his wife, fellow Red Raider Vicki Cooper, donated 80 specimens that were collected over 50 years. The donation makes up only a third of Portnoy's collection, but it accounts for almost 95% of the overall weight and total specimens. The gem and mineral can be found in the glass display cases as well as in several locations around the first floor hallways. The collection not only acts as a decoration for the facility, but the specimens will also be used for study by the students in the Geosciences department.
The official end to the summer season is just over a week away, and that means the weather will soon be cooling off here in this hub city. But before the temperatures start to drop, one student organization gave students the chance to enjoy a local outdoor activity. Last night, the Students' Activities Board invited Red Raiders to stop by one of Lubbock's canyon lakes for an evening of relaxation and fun. SAB worked with SUP LBK to provide students with the opportunity to enjoy a free sunset paddleboarding session. The sunset paddle ran from 7 to 8:30 p.m., giving attendees the chance to enjoy a beautiful late summer evening while discovering a unique entertainment option not far from campus.
We just know that students should get out, should see Lubbock a little bit more, should see what it has to offer. And this is a great way to get students out of their dorms, not worry about homework as much, just worry about having fun.
SUP LBK's paddleboard season is nearing an end, with only 3 more sunset paddle sessions available on each of the remaining Fridays of September. If you missed out on last night's free opportunity, there are still spots available for September 13th, 20th, and 27th. To make a reservation, visit suplbk.com for more info. And for a listing of all of the students' activities, boards, fun, and free events scheduled for the fall semester, visit sab.ttu.edu and click on the Fall 2024 activity calendar. It may have felt more like fall over the last few weeks here on campus, but the summer is definitely not over just yet. Elisabeth joins us now from the Weather Center with a preview of what could be summer's last heat wave in the MCTV forecast. Elisabeth?
Thanks, Aidan. Well, we've been experiencing a pretty warm week, and it looks like that is going to continue as we head on into this weekend with temperatures rising. We also have experienced a dry week. However, that has not been the case for everyone in the United States. Hurricane Francine made landfall just yesterday in Louisiana, bordering Texas, now moving up as a tropical storm. It doesn't look like we're going to see any rainfall here in Lubbock from the tropical storm. However, we could see some isolated thunderstorms early next week. As we look at tonight, a pretty mild night compared to what we've been seeing. We've been dipping down to the 50s, but it looks like tonight we're going to stay in the 60s for the most part across the South Plains. Snyder 67, Turkey 64, Matador and Spur both sitting at 65 tonight. Demet and Plainview 60. So tomorrow morning may be a little bit cooler, but as we head into our afternoon, that is going to change and temperatures are going to rise pretty significantly off to the east, getting in the upper 90s, even 100 degrees for some places. Snyder 99, Turkey 101, Matador and Spur both sitting right flat at 100 tomorrow. Demet 99, Plainview 97 with mostly sunny skies. Tonight here locally in Lubbock, low of 65. Tomorrow jumping up to 98 degrees with mostly sunny skies. A south-southwest wind cooling us off just a bit at 13 miles per hour, but keep in mind those warm temperatures as you dress ahead for campus tomorrow. As we look into our weekend, a warm weekend, especially Saturday, high of 98 with mostly sunny skies. Keep in mind that football game is on Saturday. It begins at 11 a.m., so it might start off pretty nice, but as we move on into the afternoon, it is going to get pretty warm, so be sure to stay hydrated as you're out in those stands. Sunday, high of 95 with mostly sunny skies. As we start off next week, continuing that warm trend and staying in the 90s on Monday with a high of 91 degrees and sunny skies. Tuesday, 90, Wednesday, high of 91. Thursday, cooling off just a bit with a high of 88 degrees and mostly sunny skies. Tuesday evening, we could potentially see some isolated thunderstorms across the area, so just keep that in mind as you're making your plans for early next week. I'm Elizabeth, and it's back to Aidan.
Thanks, Elizabeth. The Red Raider football team may have dominated local headlines this week after a rough weekend on the road, but another team is starting to get some attention after teeing off their season on a high note. The Texas Tech men's golf team finished in the top 5 earlier this week at the Inverness Intercollegiate Tournament. On Tuesday, the team wrapped up their final round with a 4-over par, 280 team score, which was good enough for 5th place. Sophomore Tim Wiedemeyer led the team by finishing in 5th place individually, followed by fellow sophomore Ben Gregg, who also ended up in the top 10. Freshman Connor Graham finished tied for the 12th to kick off his collegiate career, and he was the only other Red Raider to end the tournament in the top 20. The team entered their first competition of the season, ranked number 4 nationally by the Golf Channel, and the 4 other top finishers in this week's tournament were also listed in the first 5 spots of the Golf Channel's rankings. Next up for men's golf is the Olympia Fields Fighting Illini Invitational Tournament in Illinois. The tournament starts this Friday and runs through Sunday. The Red Raiders will face 14 other teams, including Big 12 rivals Oklahoma State and Baylor, and former conference foe Texas, who moved to the SEC this year.
As Aidan mentioned, the Texas Tech football team had a rough first road game, falling to Washington State last Saturday in Pullman. But the Red Raiders are back home this weekend with hopes for a much better outcome. Last Saturday's matchup with the Cougars was a lot less competitive than experts predicted, with Tech falling 16-37. Tech's offense, which was praised the previous week after putting up 52 points, was largely criticized, even though the Red Raiders ranked up 491 yards in the loss. A large part of that criticism was aimed at the number of offensive penalties in the game. Texas Tech had 10 penalties for 80 yards, with multiple penalties coming before the snap. In reaction to that stat, head coach Joey McGuire has now hired a mock officiating crew to work with the team during practice. McGuire hopes the insight from the officials will help the team avoid future penalties, and fans will have the chance to see if the extra input makes a difference in person this weekend at the Jones AT&T Stadium. The Red Raiders are scheduled to take on North Texas this Saturday at 11 a.m. The matchup not only marks the second home game of the season, but is also the final non-conference showdown before Tech starts Big 12 play back at the Jones following Saturday. If you're not planning on watching in person, you can also catch the game on FS1.
Speaking of conference play, the Texas Tech women's soccer team is currently in the Metroplex preparing for their first Big 12 matchup of the season. The Red Raiders will be facing the TCU Horned Frogs at 7 p.m. tonight in Fort Worth. Tech finished with a 5-2 record in non-conference play, but it was a disappointing start for the team, who were ranked number 8 in the preseason United Soccer Coaches poll. The Red Raiders hope to find their way back into the top 25 with a strong showing against TCU. Tonight's game will be available through Big 12 now on ESPN+. And another women's team is also back in action tonight on the road in the Lone Star State. Red Raider Volleyball will be facing the first of 3 opponents this weekend at the UT Rio Grande Valley Tournament. UT-RGV is the first matchup on Tech's schedule, with tonight's start time set for 6:30 p.m. The Red Raiders will be back in action tomorrow with 2 more matchups: Texas Tech A&M Corpus Christi at 12:30 p.m., followed by this week's final against Houston Christian at 4 p.m. You can check out the team in action during all 3 games on ESPN+.
So Aidan, are you planning on heading to the Jones this weekend to watch Raider football?
I sure am. Super excited about the game. Not super excited about the heat.
Me too, yes. Everyone definitely stay hydrated out there. Well, that's all for today's edition of the MCTV Weekday Update.
Thanks so much for joining us, and be sure to check ttuhub.net every day for more news. We'll see you next week.